In this video, we will describe how to enter the numbers that Easy Per Diem generates into TurboTax. On the Easy Per Diem final tax report, you will see two options that adjust how the report is displayed. You will want to click on the Display for Use with TurboTax button. When the Display for Use with TurboTax button is clicked, the data on the final tax report adjusts so the numbers are easy to enter into TurboTax. Note that the numbers do not automatically get sent to TurboTax, although this video and the TurboTax guide will explain exactly where to enter the numbers that Easy Per Diem generates into TurboTax, so it is very simple. The purpose of this guide is to show how to enter the numbers in the Employee Expenses section of TurboTax. So we are going to skip to Federal Taxes and choose Deductions and Credits. We'll then scroll down the page until we find the Employment Expenses heading, where we will select Job-Related Expenses. Employment expenses related to a W-2. For pilots and flight attendants, this is where TurboTax will capture all of your job-related expenses that Easy Per Diem has organized for you. On the bottom of this page, choose Yes. Did you have any of these expenses in 2014? Pilots and flight attendants typically have several of the types of expenses listed on this page, so choose Yes. Tell us about the occupation you have expenses for. Enter pilot if you are a pilot or flight attendant if you are a flight attendant. Then click the button that says Continue. Do any of these uncommon situations apply to your job? Flight crew members must check the option that says you are in the transportation industry. Home office expenses. Most flight crew members would choose No. Any vehicle expenses or sales. Most flight crew members would choose No. Did you buy or own any items for use on your job? This page deals with items that must be depreciated, which would not include typical purchases by flight crew members, so we will choose No. Do you have any deductions from 2013 to include in this year's return? Most flight crew members would choose No. Any other expenses? This page will get several entries from Easy Per Diem. In Section 3 of the final tax report, with the Display for Use with TurboTax button selected, you will see the data to enter on this page. To enter the expenses on this page, reference the letters for each expense category on Easy Per Diem. Parking, taxi, and bus expenses correspond to letter B in Easy Per Diem. Travel expenses correspond to letter C in Easy Per Diem. Meal expenses covered by Department of Transportation rules is the total of your per diem calculation, or letter D. Other meals and entertainment would likely be 0. Business gifts is also likely 0. Education expenses may exist if you paid for an educational expense that relates to your job. For example, pilots might pay for a type rating in an aircraft, which could be considered an educational expense. Educational expenses that are not related to your occupation as either a pilot or a flight attendant would not get entered as employee expenses. Professional publications may be added if you subscribed to websites, magazines, or other media related to your occupation. These other expenses can be found under the heading Other Expenses. When everything is appropriately entered on this page, click Continue. This next page asks for other unreimbursed job-related expenses. On Easy Per Diem, reference the section under the heading Other Expenses, but be careful not to include professional publications or educational expenses if they were already entered on the previous page. For job-seeking expenses, the costs associated with searching for a new job may be deductible if the new job is the occupation. For example, a flight instructor might search for a job as an airline pilot. The occupation, pilot, is the same for both jobs. Therefore, the costs associated with searching for that new job are deductible. Once the other expenses are entered on this page, click Continue. Reimbursements for expenses. If you received per diem from your airline, choose Yes. Also choose Yes if you received any reimbursement for any other expenses you may have entered. Did your employer keep meal and entertainment expenses separate from your other job-related expenses? If your employer pays you a per diem rate that is separate from your salary, it will be yes because it goes into a different box on your W-2 than your salary does. In most cases, this will be yes. Enter any reimbursements you received while working in this occupation. Include any reimbursements included under code L in box 12 of your W-2. You will want to enter your non-taxable per diem, which is listed as letter E on Easy Per Diem if you entered it. This value gets entered where it says reimbursements for DOT meals and entertainment. The second box on this page is likely 0. The third box on this page will get a value if you were reimbursed for some other expenses you may have incurred. For example, you might be reimbursed for uniform costs. In that example, if you added uniform expenses and were reimbursed part of it, enter that reimbursement amount here. That value on Easy Per Diem corresponds to letter F if it was entered as a reimbursement on the Easy Per Diem final tax report. Any special situations? Some pilots might be an armed forces reservist. If this is the case, do not check this option because it does not apply to your job as a civilian commercial pilot. You would add those expenses by adding another job and going through this process again. Civilian and military expenses should be kept separate. Most crew members will select No on this page. When you finish, you will see a summary. Note that the refund amount you see has no meaning until the entire tax return is complete. At that point, the only way to determine if the flight crew expenses benefit you is to remove the job expenses and see if it reduces your refund. We hope this tutorial helps you understand how to enter your Easy Per Diem data into TurboTax, and please let us know if you have any questions.